The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
The Great Debaters Contest, in conjunction with Blaze by Safaricom, proudly presents the semi-finals of the 2017 Great Debaters Contest. Our focus on the Sustainable Development Goals continues. Welcome to the show. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Today we have Friends School Kaimosi girls going against Mbooni girls, and their motion on matters education and technology is Africa should increasingly use technology to improve the quality of education. Mariam, do you think they have what it takes to actually tackle this motion?
I believe they have what it takes. It's the only way they got this far. We'll let them take the stage now. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Kubadilika vijana soma vijana masiku zazidi badilika vijana. Now, my name is Sally Manano Haga from Mbooni Girls, here to strongly propose the motion that states Africa should increasingly use technology to increase the quality of education. When I talk about technology, I mean it's the scientific knowledge used in practical ways in the industry. Furthermore, quality of education is the standard of the process of teaching, training, and even learning. Now, my song, Soma Kijana, states that days are changing and times are changing. We all know that we're all becoming digital. Now, if we can get students in class 1 in Kenya, students in class 1 who are able to use laptops at that tender age, then we are decreasing the levels of computer illiteracy in the future. Now, most of the African countries are emulating countries in other continents. A good example is Japan and China, whereby they have a very high technology and they're even thinking of getting teacher robots. Not would be better than that. Furthermore, most schools have shifted from using chalkboards and they are now using whiteboards and smartboards. According to Al Jazeera on March in the year 2014, Mozambican teachers were found to be suffering from respiratory disease. Now, when they went to hospital, they were told it's because of the chalk dust. Now, since most schools are shifting from using chalk dust, it makes learning easier and even healthier. I'd also like to advise you, from Mbooni Girls, if your school does not have a whiteboard or a smartboard, you should totally get one. Trust me, it's safe. Furthermore, according to Timothy Smith's report, the use of technology has promoted independent learning and has made students more responsible. This is because they're able to read and research on their own without the assistance of teachers or even their parents. Most Kenyan universities are following the same way. This is because they recommend, a good example is Multimedia University. They recommend the use of laptops for the student to be enrolled in that school. This is because they know that a laptop is very, very efficient in learning. Technology can also provide more opportunities for struggling or disabled students. I am not calling us disabled students, but we all know that these motions are not as easy. Now, Judge Major, confirm. When you're sending this motion, it was easier for you to send them through emails, right? Just imagine if you were to sit down, write over, there were eight motions, write them on a letter. You're writing, you're not typing, you're writing them. And then you're supposed to burn fuel to the post office. When you get there, you're supposed to pay for the stamps. Now, our teachers have to burn fuel to go to the post office. Then after they get there, they also have to pay for the letters. It is expensive and it is cumbersome. When the GDC was sending the motions, they just used a few bundles, and when we were getting the motions, they also use a few bundles. All I'm saying is, technology is very key in every sector in life. If you're now not using telephone booths and we're using touch screens, it is easier. Now, if technology is used in every sector in life, education is a sector in life. And education is very key in everything that we do. My school will say that education is treasure, and I think technology will make me prove that treasure. Thank you.
Friends School Kaimosi, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statement.
You know, life that is not measured is really not worth living. And that is why today I, Carol Daisy Swaiter, from Friends School Kaimosi Girls, strongly stands firm to oppose the motion that states that Africa should increasingly use technology to improve on the quality of education. So what is technology? Technology is machinery and equipment developed from the application of science knowledge. And what is increasingly? This is the prioritizing of something. So today I'd like to stand firm and tell you, that actually prioritizing technology will not enable us even 0.01% make our education quality. Because from what I know, according to the www.bbc.com, it is clearly stated that 75% of African countries are developing countries, meaning they are poor. Why should these poor countries avail technology to the people, yet there are other factors that need to be prioritized? Let us look at what really needs to be prioritized. First and foremost, let's look at teacher-student ratio. You know, internationally, there is a set student ratio. That is according still to the www.bbc.com. And this ratio is 42:1. Yet when we come to Kenya, we have a ratio of 82:1. In Senegal, 68:1. Mauritania, 58:1. Cameroon, 56:1. Yet according to UNESCO, it clearly states that a student only understands better if the population in the classroom is minimal. For instance, 42. That is why we have a standardized teacher-student ratio. Let's move forth to standardizing these things. We all want to make the next Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, our own Nelson Mandela, for us to be able to have these great minds and achieve the SDG number 9, which states industry, innovation, and infrastructure. All these are born from quality education. But if we cannot be able to prioritize teacher-student ratio, then we are doomed to hell. Let's take a look at infrastructure. According to the Nation Media Reports in 22nd of January 2017, it clearly shows that 47% of schools in Kenya lack proper classrooms where they can be able to learn. Take a look at a place like Turkana. Students do have laptops, right? But where do they study from? Under trees. Is the power even available to them? No. So how are they even supposed to be able to charge these laptops? Let's move to Nigeria. According to the Daily Trust newspaper in Nigeria on Saturday, July 22nd of 2017, and I quote, "Students need classroom, libraries, laboratories, and sufficient spaces for exercises that will enhance quality education. Our schools are in shambles and shackles, thus they need to be improved. Because today, our education is being termed as best avenues for the production of graduates that are merely reflections of great rot in the system. That is why nowadays, even in Kenya, our quality of education, when it comes to the outside, the international universities like Harvard, they are no longer being considered. Why? Because of this technology." Thank you.
Thank you. Cross-examinations now, beginning with Mbooni girls. You have 3 minutes.
This is how we do it in our school. This is how we research on our subjects. And surely enough, this is how I research for my motion today. So you can all bear me witness that without technology in the 21st century, we are going to end up in doom, gloom. Now, you have said that the countries in Africa are poor, and that's why we don't have technology advancement. But Wangari Maathai once said that our countries are not poor. The developing countries are not poor. It's just that they have poor leadership. Now, if we put our minds to it, we can develop technically, because most of our national schools are now having whiteboards, and our government just made a decree to send smart boards to our school, like the one we received in Mbooni Girls. Now, exposing students to the use of technology, such as at this early age, leads to these techni-savvy members of the society in the future. They might, who knows, they might end up discovering technology that is mind-blowing, groundbreaking. Let's say something like time traveling, which has never been discovered by any of the greatest scientists that have been in this era and the previous eras. According to the globalchange.com, the leading school in South Africa that was started by Oprah Winfrey, they have increasingly used technology with the aim of the empowerment of the girl child. Now, you can bear me witness, because these ladies are now great people in this society. And as if not enough, due to technologies, teachers have been able to keep a close eye on their students in more than one way. Audiovisual presentation lead to better enhancement of understanding to these students. Okay, let me use an example that most of you in the audience are. You all watch the show that it's known as Game Shakers. Those teachers use smart boards in their classrooms to teach the students, like the way hydrogen burns with a pop sound. Without even going to the laboratory, you can be able to see how this hydrogen burns with a pop sound. In Liberia, they have used these graphic demonstrations in their classes. And I can promise you, if you just go and look at their art exhibit, you will be fascinated by their art. The whole purpose of education is turning mirrors into windows of opportunities. Now, the whole purpose of technology is the forward movement of the education system in African countries. Thank you.
Mbooni girls, let's hear your cross-examination. You also have 3 minutes.
I'd like to state facts clearly. I'm not against technology. I'm against the increasing use of technology. Nambute Gloria, Kaimosi girls. I am not against the fact that we are going to use smart boards in our classrooms. I'm against the fact of us continuously using the internet to get our facts. Very nice of Japan to develop teacher robots, but the students ran away to find a robot early in the morning in classroom, class 1 students. It's sad. Then someone said, Soma Soma Kijana. He didn't say browse Kijana. Something else. I'm very impressed by the fact of you being able to lay on our tables that chalks are causing cancer. But I'm not against smart boards. No. In fact, we should have smart boards. What I'm against is, are you really getting me? Us continuously browsing everything. It's like we're learning in robots. We don't even associate with our teachers. We have these laptops that we scroll on every time. We are really looking at what's going on. I'm proud of my paper. It's really nice. It teaches me handwriting, and it enables me to think and work. Not right now. I'll need a laptop later. I like for us to prioritize things. Actually, according to UNESCO, it has said that the African curriculum needs to be diversified. How? We need to be able to make a curriculum in that when our students study this new curriculum, they can be able to create jobs. Actually, technology is not bad, but let's look at what we need to do first. That's diversify our education system. Technology later. I can start technology at a very good age, and I promise you, I can be the next Bill Gates, starting something like Gloria, Microsoft Word. Very nice. But I don't need it now. I don't need it now. Technology is very, very expensive. Increasing use of technology is expensive. You can imagine in that every classroom in Kenya needs a laptop or a computer, even if it's one. It is still expensive. Our economy is not that strong. Whether we are poor or not, the reality remains we don't have enough to cater for this education system. Actually, when we begin using technology right now, we'll create youths in future who will actually not, do you understand me? Not do anything but stay tuned to their laptops because they began it from the roots. How can you expect someone to use a laptop since primary school and be a very normal adult? Actually, 60% of teachers in Africa are saying no to the increasing use of technology because they will be replaced in their job opportunities. Why do we need to train people in education when we're actually killing the job opportunities for them? And I say, I am not against the use of technology in education. I'm against the increasing use of technology. I'm against it. I stand firm. No, please.
Thank you very much to the audience for those wonderful, very pertinent questions. The proposition have been asked, wouldn't the increasing use of technology in education lead to students having access to inappropriate material and pornographic material and sites? The opposition have been asked, how can they be for the diversification of education and at the same time be against technology? We'll have them respond to those queries. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Firmly proposing the motion that states Africa should increasingly use technology to improve the quality of education. My name is Mercy Kavata from Mbooni Girls. Well, the answer to the question is teachers usually put restrictions on the sites that students visit when in schools. And actually, there's something else called parental guidance control. Again, I had someone here say that when you are going to use technology, it is bad because you have to keep on browsing and browsing. Let me just ask you one question. If this technology was not there, would you have moved from each and every country to see how much technology they use in order to come and debate for this motion? Didn't you use technology? And if you listened very well, chalk do not cause cancer. She did not talk about cancer. She said respiratory diseases. Again, cheap is expensive. If you say technology is very expensive, what is the essence of having 1,000 textbooks in a library whereby you have to go, keep on searching and searching and searching for a point, yet you have a phone where you can just input your point and all the answers come through? With countless online resources, technology can help to improve the level of teacher and student relationship. Well, according to a case study carried out by Chuka University in 2014, it shows that the concentration levels of most students in class is very low, and that is very practical. It always happens in classes when teachers are always saying we have to wake up, and this is mostly after lunch lessons. Well, if teachers come in with apps and online resources whereby we can be able to interact with him or her, the teacher, directly, we will find that this student has the energy. He or she wants to learn more and more because he is not having the monotonous classroom teaching. Again, technology helps students to retrieve all types of information at a faster rate, especially through search engines. For example, Opera Mini and Google. A case study carried out by Yale University in USA in 2016 shows that for most students to graduate in universities, they have to do projects. And these projects cannot just be done about walking around. Okay, there are many different ways to get information for your projects. But if you check, 99% of your information is going to be got from the internet. So if you say technology should not, it's not the better way to go, then how are you going? Do you want to tell me when you have a project to prepare in 3 weeks and you're covering about 15 regions, you're going to move from one region to another, gathering information while you have a phone that you can easily gather your information? It is not logic. Technology has equally brought about something we call long-distance learning. For example, when I'm in Machakos, I come from Machakos, and I am not able to go to a university maybe in USA. My parents are not able to afford, but the grade I got is enough and capable to take me there. But I do not have a sponsor. I do not have any way and means to get me to that place. I can equally go to class, attend my classes using my phone at the comfort of my seat. And you can come and say that technology is not working. It is really improving the quality of education. The type of education that does not use technology is the informal education that was used in the past. And that is a long time ago, and times have really changed. Thank you.
Thank you. Friends School Kaimosi, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
Somebody very wise said, the mind of a child is very explorative. Kikuyu Tracy of Friends School Kaimosi Girls. Now, somebody popped the question, but first things first, I serve an orderly God, so I will go in order. When we talk about diversifying a curriculum, we mean by how about teaching this kid how to read first? Teaching this kid several things that maybe lead that kid into using that very technology. Now, let me enlighten you just a little bit because it definitely seems the lights are on, but nobody is home. This very use of technology encourages access to inappropriate content. Research done by www.OECD proves that 75% of students who use technology in these present times, especially computers, actually access pornographic material. And 50% of these children who actually view this pornographic material actually practice it. Now, according to you, you took your child to school to keep on learning. But what is the need of you taking your child to school but keeps learning the negative things? Did you take your child to school to learn how to count, how to read fluently, how to speak fluently? Or did you take your child to school to actually get a chance to explore the internet and learn about pornography? I don't think so too. Point number 2, cyberbullying. We go right away to Tanzania, where we have 23% of students who actually use technology being lured into sex, and actually, at the very same point, gets lured into foreign jobs in countries which are overseas. Now, according to the very same research by UNESCO, actually proves that yes, we can be using this very technology, but the impact that it is having on our child, who wants their child lost by the age of 13 into some person somewhere who is actually abusing them sexually. Now, this cyberbullying is very rampant in the sense that this child has a free time to actually explore any site that they want to, because the internet is actually at their disposal. It has become real, and it is actually real. So let us stop losing our children every single time. These very children get exposed to terrorism attacks. Please, let us stop building the next Osama and actually build the next Obama by doing things practically. Now, we go to my third point, which actually says that it actually messes with the creativity and intelligence of a child. Now, thanks to my French teacher, I can say, ici avec moi, j'ai un proverbe qui lire, l'opéra n'a pas fini tant que la grosse n'a pas chanté. Well, if I used technology, I wouldn't have known that. Here with me, I have a proverb that says, the opera is never over until the fat lady sings. But what if I used this technology? I would have been stuck to some native language somewhere. I wouldn't even known the word bibliothèque has an accent, which means library. Good day.
Closing statements now. Mbooni girls, you have 1 minute.
Thanks to my smart boarding school, I am able to spell Ishlibe GDC, which means I love the Great Debaters Contest. Well, the relevant SDG for this motion is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong opportunities. This cannot go on if technology is not applied. People start speaking at home. I do not know of a school where kids go to be taught how to speak. Children are able to speak at the age of around 1 year. They are able to say some words. So when you come here and say that you take your children to school to know how to speak, wow. Children are even able to read at the age of 3. They do not need technology to be able to read. Like you say, you use technology for that. Didn't I just say that just put restrictions on websites? These children do not always have to view pornography. The teachers are usually there, like for example, in most schools, you find the teachers are usually there when you're using these smart boards and stuff like this. So you cannot just say that it will use pornography. Technology will never replace great teachers. But technology in the hands of great teachers is a transformation. Not my words, but the words of George Carras. He rests my case.
Friends School Kaimosi, you also have 1 minute.
You know, I keep wondering, what is 1 + 1? You know, most people will tell me too, it can be 11. It can be mom plus dad. It can be sun plus moon. Exactly. That is the mentality. So I keep wondering, was anyone here born reading? I thought so too. You know, my greatest fear is that we are getting into an era whereby technology is substituting teachers instead of complementing them. And what kind of a society are we producing? A society of idiots. That is why you find we have people like Professor Matiang'i in Kenya. They are doing wonders, and we appreciate them. You know, I tend to fear so much that the day in which technology will surpass human interaction, then we will have a generation that is full of idiots. Because even today, we keep attaining A's which don't even belong to us. And even if you talk about closed social media sites like YouTube, we have open sites like Pornhub. Do you have anything to say about that? I thought so too. I rest my case.
Mbooni girls, I like that, Faith, you brought about technology for empowerment and what it is that it's actually able to do. I think the start was not as strong as we would have expected it to be. In terms, you gave very good examples, Sally, but didn't quite make the point with regards to why is it that we should increasingly use technology. For Friends, I think this is a very tough motion to oppose. But I like that you chose to argue your points from a side of prioritization, meaning that there are very many other things that could happen before technology is put into place, and that was I think that was a smart move. What could have been done better is in terms of closing the loop with regards to what it is that the impact on that is as far as the quality of education is concerned.
Mbooni girls, the judges awarded you 77%. Please give them a round of applause. Friends School Kaimosi, the judges awarded you 76%, making Mbooni girls the winners of this debate. Let's give them a hand, please.
Now, a big congratulations to the two teams on stage. Reaching the semi-finals is not a small feat, and therefore still understand that the fire is still burning. I would like to thank Safaricom Blaze for our sponsors, and our viewers back home. Keep watching and stay tuned. The finals are just around the corner. I am Austin Yumbok.
I am Mariam Bishar. Thank you for watching.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.